All right, everybody, welcome back to the second episode of the Washed Athlete podcast. Boys, how's it been? It's been a while.
It has been a while, besides the people who recorded the last episode of Extra Cycle. So first episode of Extra Cycle is out. Make sure you go watch it about Cobra Kai, which is what I've been doing in the last couple of days. I watched all of it in one day. I know Andres was getting a little bit of crap for that. Not watching it in 2 days.
Big fan.
Yeah, hey, listen. I just like to really let the show soak in. I don't want to rush it all. I want to actually pay attention to what I'm watching. Not watching it at 1.5 times speed. Was it, Raj?
Yeah, and I still got all the information I needed.
Nah, you can watch. Well, the best thing about Cobra Kai is you can watch like 4 seasons of the show in like a week, and it's not even that hard.
Yeah, so Andres, I don't think you have a very good argument right here, to be completely
Also,
honest.
let's convert your time on Fortnite to time watching the Netflix shows you're supposed to, and you'd be done.
Hey, listen. About Fortnite. Fortnite is back. Like this winter, they had a pretty cool update. The Spider-Man update is pretty. It was fun. All the boys are playing back home, so had to hop on, catch a few wins. The vibes.
How dare you?
Money Heist though is better.
Hey, I am getting into Money Heist. Money Heist that is something I have been doing this winter break, and it's a good show. The acting is very good. The acting is, I will say, although I haven't finished it yet, and I finished Cobra Kai, the acting on Money Heist is fantastic and is better than Cobra Kai. I can say that with ease as of right now.
Now, do you watch sub or dub?
Well, unlike somebody, I like to watch a show in the language it's recorded in.
Yeah, I wonder who rocks with audio lag. Guess.
Well, at least watch the show.
Oh my god!
You watched it in English.
You didn't watch the show.
I don't know.
Wait, hold on. So did y'all watch Squid Game?
Yes.
Yes.
So did you watch it in Korean or did you watch it in English?
I watched it in Korean.
Korean with subs.
Oh, really? So
watched it in English.
Okay, because I watched it in English like in the beginning. Well, I guess I watched it in English the whole time. But then like I thought about it and I was like, oh, I really should have watched this in Korean because like the way like the characters talk is like completely like not how you would talk in English, and it's like
exactly
it takes you out of the TV show a little bit where I'm like Ollie's always saying like sir and whatnot, and it really throws you off because it's like, oh, we like in English you wouldn't talk like that, but that's like it's just the bad dub.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you guys think about?
Did you say sir? You wouldn't say sir?
No, but like he says it to an excessive level. Like not like he doesn't say sir, I need this. He just says like it's like 5 times in one sentence. And it's like
because I think it's just like insane. How the language works is like every time he's like saying it, it's like supposed to refer back to like the person that he's talking to. So like it just doesn't make sense like translated. But like if you just like watch the subtitles, they just like actually translate to what it's supposed to be.
Gotcha.
You guys like Squid Game?
It was good.
It was good. I think it's just one of those shows where it's like it was like good, and then like all of like the entire world got in on it, and then it's like, okay, now it's like being heralded as like the greatest show ever created. It's like, okay, let's calm down. It's a good show. It's not that good.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good show. Like a good I guess breath of fresh air. I think that clearly had a big impact on like the world and other content creators, where you would see like certain YouTubers making like specific YouTube videos about the show.
You could just say Mr. Beast. Like,
yeah.
Just you're on the bush there.
Yeah, Mr. Beast, for example. I mean, he did a phenomenal job with his YouTube video. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, although it's clearly different, and it was easier for him to get the views. I mean, he got like more views on that YouTube video than not Cobra Kai. Squid Games did, like, in its entirety. Then again, it's a paid subscription, and there's more episodes, so it's different, but still an interesting concept.
It's crazy what Mr. Beast did. I didn't watch the video for a long time because I was watching Squid Game with my girlfriend, and then it took us a while to get to the end of it. So then I was like, when I didn't watch the video when it came out because I didn't want to have anything spoiled for me. And then I watched it at the end. I was like, this is like really good. Like the quality of it, and it has like I think it's up to 158 million views, and it's probably gone up since I watched it. So just the amount of reach that like one YouTube video had because it like went off of the TV show is just absolutely nuts.
Well,
Yeah, for
besides
sure.
all that, what's everybody else been up to? Anything interesting?
I went to Broadway.
Oh shit.
Ooh,
What'd you
okay.
watch?
We watched Lion King on Broadway, so that was my one of my Christmas gifts from my dad. Me and my girlfriend went to New York 2 days, and then we saw Lion King on Broadway, which is super cool. So that's the second show I've seen on Broadway. I saw Aladdin and then Lion King. So Lion King's better than Aladdin in terms of like production value, but I prefer the story of Aladdin over the story of Lion King. I don't know if that's like a hot take.
Yeah, I don't know if that is a hot take. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know enough about like theater to actually like know if that's a hot
Yeah.
take. But yeah, I remember the one time the only time I was ever gonna go to a Broadway show, I was gonna go see Lion King, and then it got canceled the day that we were gonna go.
shit.
It was,
Damn.
I was like maybe like 7 or 8, and like from that point on, I was like, I hate theater. Like I hate it. And then like finally now, like as I've gotten older and less jaded from my youth, I've actually like really grown to enjoy it because like my school had like a really good theater program, and like the kids that did it were just unbelievably good. Like there's the one guy that I hung out with last, I think maybe like last break, I think. He was actually on Broadway for a while. He was doing one of
Oh,
the shows there.
wow.
Yeah. Which was dope. And then of course now it's like, oh, this is what I've been missing out on the entire time. Cool.
I think theater is one of those things that like when you're and there's a lot of these things in life, but like when you're young, you just don't appreciate it. So like if I went to a Broadway show when I was like 10, I would have like I wouldn't have made sense to me. I wouldn't have like appreciated like what they were doing on stage. And now that I'm like older and I like go watch the show, I'm like, this is like really freaking good. Like the production value for Lion King is just off the charts. But like from everything from costumes to like the singing and the choreography, it's just nuts. And it's just one of those things that when you're young, you just don't appreciate as much until you get older.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean that's really dope, Justin. I mean, anybody have anything else that they were doing over break? I know it's probably a little bit tough to try and one up that one, but
I slept.
I mean, who didn't?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, what else did I do?
Really?
Eat food, sleep, go to the gym, come home.
Oh yeah, that sounds about like what my schedule was too.
You
Yeah,
always gotta
pretty
get in the
much.
gym work.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
Funnily enough, me and Raj's so basically at Pitt, they pushed back the move-in dates for certain
Oh, God.
places, and the gym is closed up until like the latest move-in date. And me and Raj could move in whenever we want, and our move-in is contingent on the gym being open. So we're just using our gyms at home and waiting for the one at school to be open to move there.
Why would I ever go to a place that doesn't have a gym?
Exactly.
Willingly. Never would do that.
We could just full send Planet Fitness memberships again.
Absolutely not. That was terrible.
PTSD. That
Yeah,
was.
didn't you guys cancel that super fast?
Yeah,
Very
very.
quick.
Oh my god, it was terrible. It was a joke.
Oh,
Dude,
jeez.
those Smith machines were crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
yeah. A lunk alarm.
Oh,
Well,
I really want to go to one of those and set off the lunk alarm
I do
so
too.
badly. Like so badly. Like I want to just like not even do like something like really heavyweight, but just be just like see if anybody will like do anything about it. Like just start doing power cleans like next to a Smith machine and just see what
Oh my
happens.
gosh.
Like just see what happens.
Smith machine power cleans.
Exactly. Like,
Oh my
I
god.
That would
mean, you
go
could,
horribly wrong.
dude. Oh my god, that'd be so bad.
You
because
have
when
to go
tried
forward
to like,
though.
yeah, because like if you tried to like flip your hands, you would just lock the
Lock
machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just directly into the chin. Oh my god, that'd be terrible.
I don't get Planet Fitness's like willingness to like not put in free weights because like when
Because
I was looking at
it's a gym for everyone.
Gym for
Yeah,
fat people is what it is.
because I don't get it because like they would just bring in more people. Like if they had a bench and other things there, like they're pretty cheap and it wouldn't be like a bad a bad thing to do, but then like they just don't like they're missing out on a whole population of people who don't even want to like set off the hunk alarm, but just want to bench.
Yeah, I think of course I joke that it's a gym for fat people, and it's not because it's actually just a really cheap gym, and like if you're trying to do it on like a budget, whatever, it's actually really good. But the annoying part is how like they serve like pizza and donuts
Yeah.
there sometimes, and it's
Yeah.
like this, and it's like, oh, it's a judgment-free zone, but you can't lift any heavy weights because that's making people intimidated. It's like no one cares what other people are doing at the gym. It's like if you're being obnoxious, yeah, I get that. But like the entire point of a gym is to go there and get better. It's like if you see someone lifting weights, it's like, yeah, they're at the gym. I don't know what you expected them to do.
But like serving donuts and like pizza at the gym, that seems counterintuitive. Like,
Exactly.
Oh, it completely is.
Dude,
Apparently, it's the first Monday of every month.
It's
Yeah.
dirty bulk season.
Oh,
Well, I
it's
think,
dirty
like-
bulk.
I think the whole point of it though is like since they're trying to make it a judgment-free zone, they're like, oh, you don't need to be on a super strict diet and you can like have a cheat day. So they're really trying to like push that ideology forward with like their cheat meal first Monday of the month.
Literally bringing it to the gym. Why wait? Just eat it at the gym.
yeah, that's an interesting take right there.
The worst is like if you eat it before your workout and you're just like
Oh my
you feel
Oh,
like
no.
garbage.
Oh no, I
Dude,
gotta tell you
no,
guys.
That's what we got. Okay, wait, Raj, before you go,
Okay,
that's
go
what we gotta do. We gotta eat an entire pizza and then work out at Planet Fitness. That's what we need to do. We found
Oh
it.
my goodness.
Go ahead.
There it is.
No, but at my gym here, one of my friends, so he was on the hack squat machine and he started eating a Wawa shorty in the middle of his set.
Oh my god.
Like,
Why?
So
Sandwich.
What is
So-
that?
It's like a small sandwich. Yeah.
from
Yeah,
Wawa.
Okay.
So basically,
Okay.
we have these coupon codes which we call our food stamps to get free shorties from
Oh
Wawa.
my god.
The code never expires, so it's amazing.
What?
So we made one of our friends who's a senior in high school go grab like 4 of them, and then when he comes back, my friend just takes one from him and starts eating it like halfway through his set, and he's just calling it an intra workout meal.
That is
Awesome.
insane.
Getting the carbs in.
Get carbs.
That's one
Dude,
way
I
to
would
put it.
puke immediately if I started eating a sandwich.
No, I have a terrible stomach for working out. Like, I mean, so other people on this podcast like lift, and I'm like a runner, but like I ate like 2 gummy worms before I was running. Yes, like I think it was like 2 days ago because like they were sitting there, and I was like they look good, so I had 2, and I was like, oh, it's not gonna upset my stomach. It's 2 gummy worms. Mid run, I'm like burping, and I'm like, gosh, like I can feel these gummy worms like not sitting well in my stomach. I'm like, it's 2 gummy worms. Meanwhile, like there's other runners out there who like slam down a pizza at mile 6 and they're like fine. I'm like, what the heck? Like it's ridiculous.
No, I was the same way whenever like I was playing football. It was like I couldn't eat before any of the games because I used to do it like when I was like younger, like in middle school, whatever. I remember the one time I showed up, like I like ate breakfast, whatever, showed up to the game, immediately puked right before we ran on the field. And I had to go play. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. And it wasn't even like my stomach was upset, whatever. I think it was like the nerves and like everything that just like kind of got to me because I was like playing whatever and I was like 12. And I just immediately puked. And all my friends were like, holy like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I guess we gotta go out there. I'm in like full pads and everything. It was so bad.
Yeah,
Ugh.
Justin, I feel that with the running. I used to run cross country, and first day back of summer training, like before my senior year, I decided to eat like 3 or 4 waffles before running, and then I decided to run 3 miles first day back in 90-degree weather. And
Oh.
right at the end of my run, I ran behind some sort of shack and just
Let it
basically
fly.
disposed. Yeah, let all those waffles fly.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think the stuff
yeah.
that like I got away with as a kid, like in sports, is just ridiculous. Like I never used to like, think about how much I was like hydrating before like a track meet or something or like a soccer game when I was little. But now it's like if I don't have this much water, if I don't eat this many hours before my run, it's like, oh, it's just gonna be a terrible thing. Meanwhile, like I was like in middle school, I'd like eat a piece of pizza like right before a soccer game and not drink one sip of water the entire day, and I'd feel fine.
Oh my god.
Oh, that can't be
Yeah.
as bad as one of our pregame meals being fried chicken.
Oh.
Nah,
Oh
This
yeah,
was
no, I remember all
Pre-game
that.
meal.
Yeah, that was the day before one of the games at night. We had fried chicken.
Why?
No, the day of when we for what I want to say my freshman and maybe like halfway through my sophomore year, we have like like chicken and waffles. Like that was something we had
You're
for
lying.
beginning.
What?
I'm not. And then eventually we got a new strength and conditioning or he calls himself a high performance coach. So we got ourselves a high performance coach, and he put an end to that as soon as he like really got into the program. So we have like a balanced meal, typically pasta, some form of like chicken, and then like vegetables. Instead of
It's a
having
pregame meal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that would
Yeah.
make sense as opposed to chicken and waffles, bro. That would sit like a brick.
Oh
Hey,
man.
that slaps though, and especially like I wasn't playing freshman or sophomore year, so like that was fantastic. Like I loved that.
Okay, you just shut up, get a free meal, and go
That's-
watch a football game on the sidelines.
That's pretty nice.
Exactly, it
Yeah.
was so nice. Yeah,
Man, sometimes the best feeling is just when you're like sitting on the sidelines, like all dressed up, but you know you're not going in. It's a good feeling sometimes. Like it sucks because you're not out there playing, but like it's vibes on the bench, and like you're all like suited up. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna go in, but only if like 10 people get injured.
Dude, I was the other
Or
way
by
around.
1,000.
Like, oh yeah, well no, because I had like such a. I mean, first of all, my football team horrible. Let's get that straight. We were so bad, but it was so funny because they would always my sophomore year. They had me starting on varsity and on JV. So I would be like, it would be like Saturday, I would be playing at like the varsity, whatever. And then I think it was like Sunday or Monday, we'd have like the JV games, whatever. And it was like, I would go in for like 2 series on JV, get like 15 tackles. They would like bench me. And then I'm just like sitting there. I'm just like a coach on the sideline, like in full pads. Like, it was so funny. Because like the one time, like I took my helmet off and my coach like gave me the clipboard because it was like JV. Literally no one cared. And I just started calling the defense. And I was just like, this is so much more entertaining than playing right now. Like this is incredible.
The funny thing is, that's not. I don't think you could do that in New Jersey. If
Oh no,
start
you
varsity.
absolutely cannot. You absolutely cannot start on varsity and play on JV. You
Yeah.
are not allowed to
Yeah.
do that. But they had me do that for like 8 weeks.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
imagine
it's-
the ref from your varsity game comes to your
Yeah,
JV game.
comes
He's
back.
like,
He's
a
like, wait a minute.
Gosh.
Oh my god. Yeah, dude, that was so. Oh my god. We had like multiple players that were like seniors on JV. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, if you were a senior on our soccer team, you could not play JV. Like it was either like you're getting cut or you're gonna sit on the varsity bench or start if you're good. But the big issue was that if you sucked, then you couldn't play JV as a senior.
Yeah.
So you're just sitting there watching the game, got the best seats in the house.
Yeah, that's what I did my senior year. I mean, it sucks at first because you're like want to play, so you like play hard in practice, so you. But like game days are fun because like it didn't matter what I like if I prepared or not because I was just gonna sit on the bench anyway. And bench mob is fun. Like the Brooklyn Nets, like if you watch them play basketball and like
Oh,
I think it was
God.
2018. Like it's such a vibe.
Yeah, bench mob is always
Yeah.
hilarious. For my lacrosse team, we were absolute maniacs on the sidelines. We would do the Tuscan Raiders celebration was probably one of
Oh
my
my
favorites.
Oh my
Because we all
gosh.
because like all of our because obviously in lacrosse you have like the guys with like the shorter poles and then the long sticks, which have like the 6 foot poles, whatever. So you get all the defenders on the sidelines. It looks like we have like the Tuscan Raider thing, and we're just screaming. It was so good. It's like JV was such a riot. Oh my god.
That's wild. Speaking of Tuscan Raiders, has anyone else watched the Book of Boba Fett yet?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Not
What
You
are
yet.
our
pirate that still.
Not yet. What are our non-spoiler thoughts? Because I'm pretty like neutral on it. So
Well, a lizard is a hallucinogen apparently.
Yeah.
yes, that's that was a
Okay,
trip.
what, your review of the show, Raj. not the
Yeah.
drugs they do. in
What?
it.
So far, I feel like they're talking about his past a little too much. It's like everything they're doing right now is about his past, and like we've got like 3 minutes of what's actually going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the first few episodes being, I would hope that they don't do that for the entirety of the show, but for the first few episodes, I think that's fine because like he came in with no context in the Mandalorian, so I think that this is necessary.
Yeah, I mean, they leave us off with like, oh, how did Boba Fett get out of the Sarlacc pit? So like they have a lot of explaining to do because he just shows up with Fennec and is like, "Hello, I'm here." So it's good that they're going back to the past, but no, they're gonna have to create some urgency because I care a lot more about those flashbacks than what's actually happening in current time. But for Jacob and Peter, I would say just wait till the whole season drops if you want to,
Yeah.
because I mean most of those shows are better as a binge than they
Yeah.
are.
You're
than
really
they
not
are.
missing much.
Yeah, I agree.
Word.
So it's not going to be like having to wait for the new episode for each Marvel TV show to come out. It's not going to be like that.
No,
Definitely
it
not
is
as
like
right
it,
now.
yeah.
I mean, like I'm saying, like, well, yeah, that's how it's structured. But I'm saying, like, it's not a show that makes you at the end, that leaves you at the end of your seat at each episode and wanting to watch more. Like, it's probably better as a binge as of right now, definitely.
Right.
Well,
Like,
that's-
I mean, the anticipation factor.
Yeah.
And like
100%.
that's the way the
It's
Mandalorian was. And like it wasn't like the most groundbreaking show ever. It was just a good TV show. It's like
Yeah,
you could
absolutely.
kind of just like wait for it to come out, whatever. But
Yeah. Well, one of the things I've been doing has been watching the Daredevil show. So
yes,
I finished that. So yeah. Peter, to answer your question from a couple podcasts ago, you asked me if it would be better than Arrow. I think
Yes.
you already know my answer.
I swear to God, if you say what I think
Jacob,
you're about to say,
please
don't
don't
dare.
do this
more.
to yourself.
Don't
on
do
Arrow-
this. Don't
this
do
on
this.
the
Arrow
national
propaganda
airwaves.
needs to stop.
Please stop.
Wrong.
Okay, let's let him speak.
What do you think I'm going to say?
Oh my!
Come on. It's Arrow. I love
think,
Arrow. Come on.
I think you are going to
I
this.
understand where you're saying there's elements of the Dark Knight though, like especially the what I would want to say the third season or the Dark Knight Rises specifically. Maybe not like at first when you were saying that I was thinking you were talking in terms of quality, but in terms of like like the plot, there were parts that reminded me of like the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rises, not Batman Begins, but the the two I just mentioned. So but I mean I thought it was a very good show. I mean, it gets me even more excited for the next, couple shows to come out, or the next, movies or TV shows or whatever that's going to involve Matt Murdock and Kingpin and all that. So no, I thought it was a very good show, but I'm just got to stay loyal to Arrow.
Jacob, I need you to hear you say it. Like,
Yeah,
Say it.
I need you to say
Just
it.
say it.
Oh, Arrow's better.
You're wrong.
Oh my
You're just wrong. You're wrong.
Like there's
What's
like
wrong
a
with
part.
DC? No, but I just hate Arrow because you like
Okay.
it.
Why do you hate Arrow?
Because you like it so much.
Okay, so that okay. Yeah.
Jacob, there is like a part of my soul that just died when you said that.
Hey, at least I watched the show. At least
Okay, I'll give you credit. You watched the show, but like, why? Why is Arrow a better show than Daredevil? Like, give
I just
me
enjoy
like
it.
give me a reason why.
I liked the characters more. I think Al Oliver is more of a badass character than Daredevil, even though Daredevil is pretty badass. I think that I will give you this. I mean, since Arrow has more seasons, it has more of an opportunity to be successful, and as well as an opportunity to like not be so. So I guess you could say the lowest point of Arrow was, it was worse than the lowest point of Daredevil, but I mean that's probably to be expected. But I mean I liked the characters more. I thought that like the best of Arrow was better than the best of Daredevil. I think that then again think also you got to think of it like this. I mean I think the best season of Arrow was season 5. Daredevil never got to a season 5. So
Canceled.
I was more, so I was, there was more of an emotional attachment piece to it than there was with Daredevil. So I'm going to pick Arrow.
So do you think that the peaks of Arrow are better than the peaks? So I haven't watched Daredevil, but like, from everything I've heard, and I'm gonna start watching it. And I don't really like Arrow that much. I mean, it's solid for the first couple of seasons, but like just thought experiment for everyone right now. How much percentage points higher on audience do you think Daredevil is than Arrow?
Oh, are we going like Rotten Tomatoes right here?
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes audience scores, not the critics.
Solid 30, 30.
I'd
30.
probably
I
say
have
like
no idea.
20, 25.
It's 26%. So you saying that Daredevil is not better is
You're
quite
just
the big-
objectively wrong.
Yeah.
He whipped up the statistics on your ass.
Yeah.
What you gotta say about that?
That's an audience score. I mean, you can't say my opinion is incorrect.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, we can.
Okay then.
Well, your argument's flawed. Like in terms of using the number of seasons, that's just a flawed argument. You can't really use that here.
And the reason why that Daredevil, Punisher, all the Netflix Marvel shows were canceled was because Disney was making Disney Plus, so they didn't want to have those shows running on Netflix that are then not supporting them on Disney Plus. It wasn't anything to do with the quality of any of the shows. It was
I'm not
literally
saying
just
it had
because.
anything to do with that.
So you're knocking it on something it couldn't control.
Well, I thought I had acknowledged
okay,
it. I thought I had
okay.
acknowledged that. I thought I had like made that clear.
Well, but then you keep saying, "Oh, well, it's got 5 seasons," so it's like, well, you can't use that argument then.
I thought I had made that clear though, that it might be out of the show's control, but I mean, I thought that the peaks of the show were in Arrow. Like I enjoyed season 5. Like I really thought season 5 of Arrow was really, really good. I would say, I mean, then again, I will say, I mean, again, season 4 of Arrow, not really good. Really was not that good. There was like a power mismatch, but at the same time, I think that the show really redeemed itself in season 5. I mean, Daredevil didn't have the opportunity for season 5, but I mean, I thought that the best of Arrow, I preferred it to the best of Daredevil.
I think what is the biggest problem with TV shows as a whole is they're not willing to end it when they should. It's like that's what makes TV shows like bad for me is when they start to like add on seasons when they already had something good. Like even something, I'm not going to talk about Cobra Kai in length. We already had a podcast to that, but like they're starting to move on to season 5 and I'm like, when are they starting to like make these seasons just for the money versus quality? It's one of the things I love about Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is like one of the best TV show I've ever watched, and they were willing to just end it. Like they could have done so much more with the storyline. They could have like stretched it for eons, but they were like, you know what? Our story is going to be contained to 3 seasons, I think there is, and that's it.
Yeah, that's actually really true because it's like they're not making a TV show for the money. They're making a TV show to tell a story, and like they knew when their story was done, they didn't push it past that. Unlike some TV shows, Arrow. But
Well, they also have the source material. Both of these
Well-
shows have source material that allows it to go as far as it does.
Well, who's still
you
alive?
knew the
Who's still
quality was
alive?
declining. You knew
Yeah.
that show was falling off a cliff.
Season
Jacob.
4 was not. Yes.
Who's still alive? Who's still alive?
Is that your argument?
Yeah, who's still alive?
Still alive.
Well, we can't
It
do
was
spoilers
still
for
alive?
Arrow.
Yeah, spoiler.
Yeah, I know.
Bro, that
That was
show-
spoiler.
who cares?
Wow.
It's
Cares,
Arrow.
Dude, this show's been out for forever. It doesn't matter.
Wow, Raj.
Low blow, my bad.
Wow.
Wait, hold on. So interesting topic is what is everyone's favorite TV show they've watched?
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay. Hang on. Let me think.
Going to the
Mine's
That's
great.
archive.
I'll start like I just mentioned it. Mine's Breaking Bad. I don't know if everyone's watched it here, but if you haven't watched it, and you're listening to the podcast, like please go watch Breaking Bad. It's like not just a story about like a drug dealer. It's like a very deep like interlook at like people's personalities, what's going on in their outside life, and how that affects like the decisions they make. And I think it's just like does a great job. And like I haven't rewatched it, but it's because I'm almost scared that it's gonna like make the experience of watching it for the first time worse.
Jesse. He turned himself into a pickle.
Jesse!
Jesse.
I love lesbians.
No, I totally agree with you, Justin. Breaking Bad, definitely. I would just agree with you, but I'll throw something different into the mix. I would honestly, I would probably say one of my favorite shows. I mean, like based on nostalgia, I mean, you could say something like Star Wars: The Clone Wars, but like I know the
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
It's like again, it's one of those where it's like the highs are so high, like the storytelling is incredible. But again, it like originally was a show made for kids, and there are some episodes that are just insufferable. Like
Yeah,
they're just
they don't
so
age
bad.
that well.
They're just so bad.
Well, 'cause I was trying to watch it
Yeah.
like last year, and I was telling you guys, I was like, guys, I can't get through this. I was like, it's
The first
bad.
couple seasons are like actually bad. Like I
Yeah.
think it's like until because it well because
3
it's
was
like,
good.
yeah, because it's like it's an anthology, so like you don't have to watch it in order until like I think what is that like 4 through 7, I guess, is like actually where they start to
Yeah.
like continue a narrative.
Yeah.
But like I think
I
it's
couldn't
like
tell you.
right up until the second battle of Geonosis is it's like bad. There's like certain episodes that like you can watch that are like it's like the ones about like Domino Squad and
Oh,
then
yeah.
like the rookie, like whatever. There's like certain ones that you can like pick out. There's some that are in there. It's just like this is so bad. Like this is unbelievably terrible.
So there's a couple seasons that aren't ranked on Rotten Tomatoes, but like the season 1 has a 69%, and then season 3 has 105, 6, 7, all have. So just like they don't
Yeah.
have season 4 and 2 ranked, but just to see that like season 1, it takes time to build up. And
Yeah.
I think I've made it pretty far. I just kind of like stopped watching. Like maybe I'll get back on it one day, but there's just so much like content just being put out and like the fandom atmosphere with TV shows that it's like
Mhm.
just watching TV shows on their own now is like tough.
Yeah.
I feel like if you didn't watch that shows, like if you didn't watch Clone Wars as a kid, you're not gonna
Yeah.
like it won't be the same. I feel
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
that's
I agree.
still the main conclusion.
Except for the Siege of Mandalore, that is some of the best written like
Like
material.
that's
I've ever
legit some of the best Star
seen.
Wars.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
All
Because that's
right,
why
Andres.
they had a different intro for that too. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
I would say Andre's favorite TV show.
Clone Wars was coming to mind, but to say something different. I don't think anyone would say this because I might be the only one that's watched it. Ted Lasso I watched recently, and that is a
Ah.
great show, very good show because it revolves around the Premier League in England, which is one of my favorite leagues to watch, and Jason Sudeikis is in it, and he is hilarious. So just combining those two things, it's a great show. Definitely would recommend. I watched that show in a week. It's 2 seasons, 10 episodes each. It's very good.
I've heard a lot of good things about that show. I've heard like it's like actually it's like not only is like the comedy really good, but like it's actually a good story too.
Yes, definitely.
Wanted to watch. I've heard fantastic things about the show, so I'm
Mhm.
glad that it also gets your recommendation.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, for me, Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, shut up. Get out.
Nah, actually though, also Ted Lasso's on like whatever that Apple TV Plus subscription.
Yeah.
There was another show that I watched on there called The Morning Show. Honestly,
Oh.
I found that at first I thought it was like a documentary or something because I didn't read anything, and then as soon as I click into it, halfway through the episode, I'm like, oh shit, damn! Like it like starts exploring like topics of like sexual misconduct and like shit like that going on in the workplace of like a morning show. And like it has Steve Carell in it, Drew Barrymore, I think.
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston, yeah. It has them in the show. Honestly, like I haven't watched season 2 yet, but like I was left on that cliffhanger at the end.
What show's this?
Really?
The morning show.
Okay.
So
okay.
I saw that on Apple TV Plus because when I got my Apple TV, I got like it. So I saw that and Ted Lasso, and I was like, oh, I should watch them. But of course, like I never got to it. But now I'm like, because I saw that and I was interested, and now I'm like, oh, if it's really good, I might.
Yeah, Apple TV has been bringing out some like actual good shows recently because it's like the morning show, Ted Lasso, and I think there's one show that I want to watch. I think it's Invasion. I think that one. I think like the premise of it is like it's like about like an alien invasion, but it's like told from like multiple different like perspectives. Where it's like you have like normal people, then you have like different governments like trying to figure out like scientists like and stuff. And I've heard that that's actually really good too. So Apple TV. I mean, who would have guessed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apple TV is bringing the heat.
They really are.
There's also one with Chris Evans too. I forget the name of it, but
Really?
defending Jacob.
Yeah,
the
that's
one.
it,
He's like
Defending
he's like the
Jacob.
lawyer. Yeah.
I watched
And I
one
think
episode of it, forgot about it, but it was really good. Besides the fact I just forgot to watch it, but it was really good that first episode.
It was so good. I completely forgot about it, but it was so good.
Yo,
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I think they
Well-
also have like some kind of like space show like about like getting onto one of the other planets or like Mars or something. I don't know what it's called, but
Oh, The Expanse, I think. Isn't that what that is? maybe.
it's called
Wait.
For All Mankind.
Oh, that's the alternate history about the moon landing.
Oh, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
That's
nominee
what-
for best
yeah.
drama series right now. I'm
Mhm.
looking at.
I've seen parts of that. That's actually a really good show.
Yeah, and they've got. Let's see how many. They've got a season 2 too, or maybe it's in the works or something. But man, they're really not playing around.
What is up with Apple TV? Okay.
Wow. Bringing the
crazy.
heat.
pulling out all the stops.
I feel like I just need to like go on a complete like Apple TV Plus like binge because they've just got so much. Like even their material now that I don't know about, I'm like it could be really good.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right, Jacob, did you settle on your favorite show?
We all know what he's gonna say.
Yeah.
actually,
Unless
no,
he
you don't.
surprises us.
You don't. You do not actually. I'll say
Okay.
that for sure. There's 3 shows that come to mind. One of them is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
Oh my god, I was gonna
That
Change
also,
the fact
that
that-
also came to mind. That also came to mind.
Nostalgia factor. I mean, I've seen it on Netflix, relatively recently. I would say it still holds up. So I'd say that's definitely up there for sure. Another one that I've seen, Gotham. I don't know if any of you guys have. Raj, didn't you say you'd watched a little bit of it?
Yeah, I've put it up there too. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I loved that show. Highly recommend it. And then the one that kind of instantly came to mind was Game of Thrones. The ending of Game of Thrones was awful.
Botched.
There was nothing about it that I was really happy with. But I think that even considering that, if I could recommend somebody to watch the show, I feel like that speaks to how good of a show it was up until that point. So I think that it definitely would get the I think that's definitely in the conversation for one of the top shows, considering how angry people were after it turned out to be a terrible ending. And then again, I still highly recommend the show to everybody. So
Yeah.
those would probably be some of the ones I'm thinking about.
Jacob, you just brought up like a really interesting I mean, I don't think you did it intentionally, but like a very interesting like concept because you said that like the ending speaks like people are upset about the ending and how that like speaks to how good of a show it is. And that's so true. Like no one
Yeah.
gets passionate about like a bad ending if the show is ass. But like if the show is really good, that's when you hear people like talking about like how disappointed they are and like the ending of it and like the finale, because finales are always split like all the time. Almost with any show, people are like, oh, the finale wasn't good. Like people were mad about the WandaVision finale, people were mad about the Hawkeye finale, people were mad about the Loki finale and stuff. But
No,
that's
I
all
mean,
really
absolutely.
good shows.
No, absolutely. And I would say that I not to like I guess toot my own horn or whatever, but yeah, no, I knew what I was saying when I said that. But like I would say that on top of that, like I also mentioned, like the fact that I can still recommend the show even though the ending was awful, and it's like we can all like I would say everybody that's seen the show can agree that the the ending isn't what the majority would have wanted. Like that speaks to how good of a show it was. So like yeah, like highly recommend it. I think it was a fantastic show. It's very disappointing that the author George R.R. Martin of the books couldn't create an ending that would be good for everybody, or just create an ending in general. So yeah,
Isn't he
absolutely.
still writing the books now?
I don't think he's even well, no, I think the issue was he just wasn't writing the books. So
my
like
God.
they had to I guess freehand the entire last season, and maybe a little bit of the other parts, but I mean like as is like it is in normal or like every single thing from like books to like movies or whatever. I mean, there's clearly stuff that happens in the books that didn't happen in the that didn't happen in the TV show. So yeah.
Game of Thrones, I started the first season a while ago, but I just like I don't have the will to move on. And
It's a tedious watch.
it's not really accessible either. Like it's easier when something's on like Netflix or Disney Plus to just like hop into it, but like when it's a streaming service that you already don't like use, it just makes it more difficult to go and like invest yourself.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I think that's kind of like that's a part that kind of sucks about streaming services now. Is like their entire point was like, oh, you can cut cable. It's like all your stuff is in one place that you actually want to watch. It's like, yeah, but now I have to get like 8 different streaming services, and there's a ton of stuff on there that I don't watch, and it's like it's just the same thing now, and I still need cable to watch sports.
Exactly. If you watch sports, cable is still a must, and it really does stink because I've met people. Some of my family have like cut cable, and they're always like, "Oh, you should really do it. Like, it saves a ton of money." And I'm like, but then I couldn't watch like the Sixers play, and then like if there's like a game on ESPN, like I'm not gonna be able to watch it unless I get ESPN Plus. But ESPN Plus is extra money, and then it's like, what's even the point of getting rid of cable? Because sometimes there'll just be a random Harry Potter movie on a channel, and I can watch it there. It's like I'm not getting rid of cable.
Yeah, because I mean, like that's I was actually just about to transition, Jacob, because like I was actually just about to start talking about like how I was flipping through cable today trying to find where all the football games were on, because obviously we're at week 18 now of the NFL season, first time that's happened, and I had to watch the abysmal game of the Steelers versus the Ravens. It was such a bad game for so long. But I think, Jacob, I think you have a lot of strong opinions about that, considering the Steelers are your team. So I'll let you talk about that one.
Thank you, Peter. Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I'll continue to say it. Mike Tomlin gets way more hate than he really does deserve. This team really didn't have, they probably shouldn't have made the playoffs. They had a very difficult schedule. Beforehand, I calculated it. I didn't calculate the losses, but the teams the Steelers played had 147 wins at the time I calculated, and that was like almost immediately after the game. They they fought through it. They clearly didn't have the best offensive line. They didn't have like a very like a lot of veterans up at front or outside on the receivers or at running back, but they still managed to get the job done. And as long as there's not a tie, which is like there shouldn't be a tie, they will make the playoffs. And I'm not saying they'll do well in the playoffs, but you know what? I'm very happy that Ben can leave having gone to the postseason as opposed to not even making it up to that point. So,
yeah.
Can I ask you who doesn't think Mike Tomlin's a good coach? Because I have never heard anyone say that.
Honestly, a lot of Steelers fans.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of Steelers fans don't are not very happy with Mike Tomlin. And I also just don't think he gets as much credit as he deserves from the media. I mean, you always have these, and I know Raj, used an NFL memes as a reference the last
I did indeed.
podcast. NFL memes were crucifying the Steelers last year.
They still are.
Laid off a little bit, but they still the Steelers aren't very, I guess, well-liked team if you aren't a Steelers fan. So, I think that he's done a phenomenal job, given the players and the talent he has on this roster. And, he just doesn't get enough credit for that.
I think your roster, though, is like low-key talented. Like, I was thinking of it today. Yeah, because I don't know, I was going through it today and I was like, your running back is better than the Ravens running back. Your wide receivers are better than the Ravens wide receivers. Your defense is better than the Ravens defense. So then I'm like, the problem is you don't have a quarterback or an offensive line, which is really important in football. But it's not like you guys don't have good skill positions and you guys have a good defense.
Well, yes and no, because we have very inexperienced receivers. So, for example, a couple weeks ago, Chase Claypool, he didn't get the ball up to the rev, so we could snap the ball, and it killed some time off the clock. On top of that, Deontay Johnson, although he was better this year, he I believe he led the league in drops this past season. And he is, he can run routes very well, but at the end of the day, if you don't catch the ball, the route you run doesn't really matter. So we clearly have talented players. Like I'm 100% with you on that. Just I don't feel as if the players, perform well or as well as they could, and it might not. Some of that maybe you could argue could be on Tomlin, but at the end of the day, he can't go catch the ball for the receivers. So I think that all things considered, I think he's done a pretty good job. I think, the Steelers, the defense, they played okay this year. They led the league in sacks, but they also gave up the most rushing yards. So, it was definitely an off year relative to years. So I would say the Steelers, I'd say it's impressive what Mike Tomlin's done with this team.
You know who else I think deserves a lot more credit? Dave Gettleman. Because honestly, it's been impressive how awful of a GM he's been to take the New York Giants, one of the most well-known football organizations out there, and take them from, they were fine after the Super Bowls, whatever. He comes in the building and they have had 5 straight seasons of never being above 500. Genuinely impressive how awful this team has been. I honestly, at this point, I had to watch a highlight from NFL memes. And let me see what the actual caption of it was. I think it might have just been "Imagine being a Giants fan," when I had to watch Jake from State Farm, I guess, take the ball and on our 3-yard line do a QB sneak on 3rd and 9.
Just saw that.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Watching that, it's this isn't a team. This is what is this? This is a joke. It's the Harlem Globetrotters versus the Washington Generals or whoever their fake enemy team is. It's that's the Giants. They're the other team. That's just a joke. It's so painful to watch. And I know damn well they're going to screw up the draft. They're going to hire the wrong coach. They're going to hire the wrong GM. And it's just going to be nothing but pain for the next 10 years, even though for the past 7, it's already been terrible. But, oh my God, it just hurts. And I know you Philly fans are really happy because I'm suffering and you guys are in the playoffs, so have your fun.
Yeah.
Peter, the problem with the Giants is I wouldn't say any position on that team is oh yeah, we're really good here. Your defense can play well. It's not like you guys don't have some talent there, but you're just a mid defense and you're kind of streaky. But you're not solid at quarterback. You're not solid at wide receiver. Offense good. You're not really solid at running back either. Saquon already hurt, and you don't even know if your coach is good, and they're gonna bring him back again. So it's there's no position on the team where you're well, we're doing well there. It's just all bad.
Yeah. Oh, and don't worry. I saw a report that our defensive coordinator might be leaving to become a head coach. So we are beyond screwed.
Imagine getting hired after leading your team to a 13 season. Be oh yeah, we want you to coach our team.
Oh yeah, we want you to be a head coach. Oh my God, there's no way.
Yeah, and that it's rough over there. But Philly, Raj and I, we're thriving.
It's all good in the hood.
Yeah, obviously it's been a good season for the Eagles. When I didn't expect it to be a good season at all. I expected. I think I said 4-13 was my guess, and we're 9-8, which is 9-8, but we really didn't even play the last game. Yesterday when the Eagles played, we're recording this on Sunday, so they didn't even play their starters. And unlike the Giants, the Eagles kind of have their act together on an organizational level, just constantly bringing in good players and just doing so. I mean, Howie Roseman gets a lot of hate out there for how he drafts, but besides drafting, he does really bring in good pieces. I mean, wide receiver drafting is the only thing that I think he really does bad. which is unfortunate. Maybe you need to get another wide receiver scout in there. But like besides from drafting wide receivers, has consistently built good teams even when you think it's going to be a down year.
Yeah, we also have 3 first-round picks coming up, so
Yeah, and the Colts aren't going to make the playoffs, so that pick's even going to be better. Because you get in the playoffs and you win a game or two, you keep pushing that pick back.
we're
And
just
the
gonna
Dolphins
we're loaded.
and the Dolphins aren't going to make the playoffs. So we have 2 picks that are non-playoff teams, and then we'll probably get first rounded. So like we're going to have like a couple high teens and a 20 pick or something like that.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean it's fantastic. It's great. And yeah, and I don't know about the draft class much, but I'm definitely going to be looking into it because unlike the Giants, there's hope for next year.
Oh God. Yeah. It's just painful.
Peter, I think you could do better if you went on to Madden and did a Madden franchise and just started
Dude,
trading away all your players for
Like
draft picks.
I'm not even lying. There have been multiple times where I'm like, I think I could do it. Like I know there's so much like beyond like being a GM that like I don't see, but just like looking at it, it's like it's not that hard. You look at the team. Oh, the offensive line is terrible. Draft offensive lineman. Why are we drafting a receiver? What are we doing? Like it's I don't know. Like, is there something that I'm missing? There's got to be. Like, there's no way that a dude can be a general manager for 5 years, go like 19 and like 40 something, and then keep his job, be able to retire from the team, not even get fired, or like retire from the team, and like he just gets to walk. It's like how does this happen? Like, how do we? I don't
You
know.
want to hear another NFL meme statistic?
What? Let's hear it.
Giants won't carry a full 53-man roster into the game. They have
Yeah.
279,000 of cap space according to NFLPA public cap report, so they wouldn't be able to do so anyways.
They carried 45 people in the last game today. Yeah, they couldn't
So-
even field an entire
So
game. Yeah,
not only do you guys suck, you're also a poverty franchise now.
literally. And I don't. It's in New York City. How are we a poverty franchise? The franchise is worth like $4.2 billion, and it's like, oh, we can't figure out money. Like, how? Like, what are we? How is this even possible? God.
Yeah, it's tough over there. I think sometimes just general managers try to be smart instead of just taking the easy pick, and sometimes it works out. 'Cause I think if you ask people in the draft that was recent if the Bengals should have drafted an offensive lineman or Jamar Chase, I think about 75% of people were like, yeah, draft a offensive lineman. Forget Penny Sewell
Yeah.
fell to them. So like everyone's like, oh, draft that guy, and he's played really well for the Lions too. So like they were like, everyone draft Penny Sewell, and then they draft Jamar Chase, and now Jamar Chase is like the best rookie receiver ever. So like it works out, but I don't know. Sometimes GMs just try to be Daniel Jones pick or like picking a guy you never heard of, and it's great when it works, but when it doesn't work, that's when you lose your job.
Yeah.
Except
I
he never
mean-
lost his job.
Speaking of losing jobs, let's talk about our favorite football player, AB.
Oh God.
Oh yeah,
Ugh.
My
Coming up
God,
Heat soon.
my God, what is this entire situation with the
Because-
Bucks and AB?
At first, I thought he was like legitimately like mentally unwell. Then it was like all the stuff came out that he was saying, and it's like, oh well, like they were trying to like cut me, whatever, blah blah, like all that. I'm like, oh, maybe he's actually right for once. And then it's like he just keeps talking, and it's like the more he keeps talking, the less I believe him. I'm like,
Yeah.
like
Those-
just stop.
Yeah, for those listening who aren't aware of the situation, football player Antonio Brown ended up taking off his uniform and just like causing a whole charade as he like ran off the field, and then took to Twitter and decided to like put out text messages and say why the team was been a big back and forth. If you aren't aware of it, go look it up, go watch the video. It's pretty embarrassing. I mean, Antonio Brown has a long history, but I mean, it's one of the craziest things to happen. Like, I mean, one guy retired in the game last year, and this is like worse.
Yeah, because it was like during the game, like the offense was on the field, and he just like threw his pads down, threw his shirt into the stands, took a selfie with a fan, and then walked through the end zone and left. Like, oh god. Yeah, because he was saying something about how apparently Bruce Arians told him to go in even though he had an ankle injury, but then Antonio Brown said no, I'm not going to play because I'm hurt. And then Bruce Arians apparently cut him on the sideline and said you're done, you're not playing with us anymore. And then he left, which if that exact situation happened, I can get being really pissed off. Not that reaction, but I can understand that. But when he drops what music did he drop? Was it a diss track? Was it just a music
It's a
video?
diss track
What was it?
on Pitt.
Pitt, not the Palace.
Exactly. It's why was that the first thing you did when you leave?
Dude,
you're really not
he's a
helping
super
your case.
gremlin.
Dude, he's an absolute
Yeah,
goblin,
but-
man.
I just love that it sounds like a 2014 sports highlight song. Those compilations.
Because that's back when he was in the prime of his career or whatever, and he's just makes that song again. Oh my god. Ugh. It's
Yeah,
just,
I mean, I think
it hurts to watch just a good football player. As a career, it just hurts to watch, man. Because obviously he's a head case, but it's watching him on the field, it's wow. This throwing this away because I have absolutely no idea why.
yeah, for sure, sign him because there's so much drama associated with him, and you don't want that necessarily to be in the locker room.
But
So
respectfully, those texts could totally be fake. The text literally reads "This is BA," referring to his coach. Is that how people text? "This is BA. Be ready for the next game."
I guess.
Yeah.
well, yeah, I mean, I feel like if they weren't real, I think we would have I feel like they would have proven that already, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they
I
must.
think the text messages have to be real. And I mean, we could probably go back and check because I want to say from what I've heard, he wasn't he was questionable to play and he didn't practice some of the days going up to that game. So I mean, that's all stuff that can be checked and verified. And I also don't I highly doubt his legal team would let him go on to Twitter and all these other platforms and say all this random all these allegations without being being truthful.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing about the situation is if he was able to actually talk through what was going on and explain a situation to everybody, I feel he would have had a much better point instead of just making himself look like he is crazy, even though if he's not, dude, if you're in the right in the situation, why are you doing this? You easily could just release these text messages, talk about it, whatever, and then just wait and then let the public be oh, he's in the right in the situation, whatever, versus that. There was definitely a way better way for him to handle
Yeah, I
it.
mean, it's simple. It doesn't matter what all the side stuff is. He said, she said, whatever that is. Just how you handle things is just part of being in sports and being a professional athlete. And it's sad that it's not just AB. A ton of professional athletes handle situations bad. I mean, all the time in the NBA, you see people getting fined for lashing out at the refs. Julius Randle just got fined $25,000 for the New York Knicks for
Yeah.
telling. I
Yeah.
think it was telling the fans of New York something, and it's just you just gotta
Yeah.
it. I mean, it's tough. I get it. They're they have all this spotlight on them, and I don't envy that situation, but at the same time, it's you guys just gotta handle the situation better because it's just part of what you have to handle as a job.
Yeah. And besides all this crazy NFL stuff going on, I know Jacob wants to talk about college football because Alabama's in the championship yet again, blah blah blah. They're playing Georgia. What's your prediction, Jacob? Who's gonna win?
I mean, I could see it going both ways. I think that if Georgia's quarterback Stetson Bennett doesn't turn over the ball, um, thus Georgia winning the turnover battle, I think that Georgia will win the game. But if Alabama wins the turnover battle, I think Alabama's going to win it. I mean, Alabama's number 2 receivers out, so it can also be, that's also much different than when they played just like a month ago. So I think it can honestly be a toss-up. It's difficult to play a team and beat a team twice, especially considering how close they played. And I think you guys don't appreciate college football enough. But what are your predictions? Even if you don't know that much
Georgia.
about college football.
Georgia.
Well, actually, that was, I'm going to eat my words on that one. That was a way more unbiased opinion than I thought you were going to say. I will retract that sarcasm that I was giving you earlier. But I love college football. I have a feeling Nick Saban, he's just not going to get out coached. That's just not going to happen. So I think it'll come down to just pure talent and everything. And I think it is going to be a bit of a toss up. Personally, I do think Alabama's just going to win because I just can't really see Georgia not for lack of a better term, fumbling the bag and being an Atlanta sports team. I mean, it's a little bit tough to not have that happen in this championship. But I mean, with college football for me, it's I love watching it up until the bowl games and the playoffs, because at that point it's I don't really care. Everything going up to that, I think it's honestly, I do think it is more entertaining because teams can be more evenly matched. You can really see how players can take over games, and they're so much younger than NFL players. It's you can really see them explode onto the scene. But then it's when it comes to the bowl games, it's I don't really care who's playing in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl or whatever. It's I don't really care at that point. And then because the playoffs are 4 teams that are get voted on. It's it's not even based on strength of schedule or whatever. It's just some people get into a room and say oh, this team should be in, and then they're just in. It's oh, well, any other team that was doing well just can't really. There's nothing they can do at that point.
Well, Justin, I know you also had an issue with the playoff format. Would you agree with Peter, or do you have other things?
Yeah, well, first, I think Alabama's going to outright win the game. I don't think they played hard against Cincinnati. I think Georgia looked like they took that game really seriously. Alabama's going to be rested. Bryce Young isn't going to turn the football over, and I think Alabama wins by 10, 13 points or something like that. Anyway, though, playoff format, it sucks. First of all, no one cares about college football in the middle of the regular season when people are playing random games, when Pitt plays New Hampshire. No one cares about the game. Shorten the regular season and make an actual playoffs that people care about. It's just I don't care about Alabama and Cincinnati playing each other because it's a super lopsided game. The 1-4 matchup is always super lopsided, so there's only really 2 games you care about. Just make it a 8-team, 10-team if you want to give bye weeks format, and then actually have teams that are competitive play each other. For an example, Pitt was a 10 seed. So I think if we would have had a competitive, it depends how many teams you put into the playoffs. If you did a 16 team, we'd be a competitive matchup. But it would just give you some kind of drama to this, drama to it, and also it doesn't make 4 or 5 selection as tough, because I think when you move, I mean, you'll still have the problem with if you do a 10 team, oh, who's the 11 team? Who gets kicked out of the contention or whatnot? But I don't know. I don't think it works well. I just think that I don't care about a 4-team playoff, and there's only 2 good games, and college football regular season is already just way too long, too many games people don't care about. I mean, Alabama plays some random team down south every single opening game, and they win by 50. Who wants to watch that crap?
Well, I wouldn't say Miami's a random team.
No, but I'm not okay. I don't know what your schedule looks like, but I don't know what your specific schedule looks like, but a ton of teams just across the college football just play random teams in the beginning of the year, and they play Pitt has played. I forgot they play. I think UMass was our first game this year. Was it UMass?
Yeah.
When we beat them by
UMass.
50. we played. I think we played Austin Peavy last year, and
Oh,
we
yeah,
won
you're
55-0 or 55-3. So it's like just those games. Like, why are they on the schedule? Like, clearly they can't compete, and it just like in the NFL, every game is legitimately like we just saw Jacksonville beat the Colts to make the playoffs. Like, you have to take every team.
Any given
Yeah,
Sunday.
any given Sunday, a team can lose. We've watched the Detroit Lions take the Ravens to a 66-yard field goal to win the game. Like, just ridiculous, like, situations where, like, NFL teams, professional athletes, like, they play hard every single week, and the talent is there enough to make upsets. There's very few college teams that can upset the top dog. So, like, why are these, like, stupid games happening? There's my rant.
I can understand your point, but then what do you think the playoffs going to do? Like, I don't think that having expanding the playoffs going to change anything. I still feel like, okay, eventually you're going to have, the same couple teams getting to the semifinals because football is just played better in the Southeast. People just, it is like, anybody that's not, a fan of the SEC, the SEC has the two teams in the playoff, in the championship game this year. So, I think that by expanding the playoff, okay, Alabama's going to make the playoff every year then. And it's less special when a team makes the playoff, I would say, if you do expand it. I guess I understand what you're saying, but I mean, about random matchups, but I think that in college football, losing a game has more importance than in the NFL, because if you lose a game in college football and your goal is to make the playoffs, as it should be for, teams should want to try to make the playoffs. If you lose a game and you lose another game, you're basically out. So I think that's also a thing that makes college football so much more special than the NFL.
No, like, I don't think that's true at all, because like the whole point is, like, the Green Bay Packers are going to be the number 1 seed, and they went 13-4. They like lost 4 football games because there's 4 teams out there who can also play at the level of the Green Bay Packers on any given Sunday. If you like having a league where, like, if you have 1 loss, like when you're UCF and you can lose 0 games and not make the playoffs, it's like it just means that, like, the regular season's almost like pointless. Like, they should just take all the top 8 teams and just throw them in the playoffs every year, because it's not going to change much. Like, I just don't see a way in which, like, Alabama only loses once and that, like, makes your league better. Yeah, and also if you expand,
well, teams just have to get better.
Teams
can't.
Teams can't.
It has to lead.
Teams can't get better with a short playoff, because teams like Alabama and like Clemson in recent history, not this year or last year, but and Georgia, like, these teams constantly get in the playoffs. Like no really good recruit is going to want to go to these smaller schools ranked 10 or something, because constantly, like, they're like, well, I'll never make the national championship game. But if you expand the playoffs and these teams that are like 7, 8, 9, around that range, they might get better recruits and make the competition better, because they'll finally be like, oh, at least I'll make the playoffs and get some national TV attention, make one upset happen, and get pushed into a later round. It's just like there's not 4 playoff spots. There's 3 playoff spots every year, because Alabama always gets in. So, like, you're just recruiting people to go to the really good schools so they can make the playoffs. Like, there's a reason why, like, Alabama always has a Heisman winner, because all the good players there. So I don't see a world in which, like, college football is better than the NFL. Like, just you're making an elitist league based on recruiting and, like, having good history, and that's not what people want to see.
Well, I disagree again. I think that with the transfer portal, with more players coming into the transfer portal than ever, some players, do want to win national championships, but a lot of players want to play and create value for themselves. So by going to a school like Alabama, unless you're really, really good, and look at how well Bryce Young has played this year. I mean, he won the Heisman. He had a fantastic season, but then again, he got beat out last year by Mac Jones. So that just speaks to how good Mac Jones was. But he could have transferred away or just gone to another school, but he wanted to stick out, the process, and I respect that. But you also have players that don't want to do that, and they can go transfer to other schools. For example, one of Alabama's backup running backs went and transferred to Cincinnati, and he created a lot of value for himself. He had a very good, productive season. So I think that expanding the playoff is the counterbalance. I think that the best counterbalance at the moment is going to be the transfer portal, so then players can get on the field and play as soon as possible. And then on top of that, the best recruiting class this year is Texas A&M. Texas A&M just beat Alabama this year. I think that's very beneficial to Alabama as a wake-up call, but you have different teams that, hey, Alabama and Georgia, they might be 2 and 3, but Texas A&M just recruited the best recruiting class, like, in the history of the, most notable recruiting website. So I disagree. I think that I can understand your frustration, but then again, I think that the relationships, the traditions, the overlap of coaching is what makes that's some of the things that make college football better. So, on top of that, I grew up watching a decent amount of SEC football, having lived down there. So maybe there's that side of things, but.
No, I'm not really I don't really feel like I'm missing out with college football. It's just like if you want to make if you want to make something that more people care about, every time the college football playoffs come up, I'm like, oh man, that's on TV. Like I just don't care. And fortunately, like the NIL system, like paying the athletes for their name, is going to end up helping other teams around because they know they can like make money before they get drafted. But I just don't think this system's good. I don't think it competes at all with like the NFL, but again, it's also a culture thing because I know the South thinks a lot differently than the Northeast fellows on this podcast as well.
Yeah. Oh well.
Anyone else got any hot takes on the?
Other teams
anyone else got any takes on the NCAA before Jacob?
I just agree.
How about you?
Yes. So I think I'll start with my prediction. So I think Bama will win, but they are going to struggle because it is hard to beat the same team twice. That goes for any team in any sport. So I think that's going to happen. I think Bama will pull through, but I think they are going to struggle to the very end. And as for the playoff bracket format, I agree with Justin's 10-team bracket with the top 2 teams getting it by. I think I would think that'd be the best format.
I think that works. I'm not really sure. I kind of just like pulled that out of my ass. Yeah.
Something like that. I think that'd be more fair than what the hell they're doing now.
Well, then again, Alabama's always going to make the playoff, and then you're going to have an all SEC national championship game. So I think that the transfer portal is going to be something good, and then honestly, just wait until Nick Saban retires. Because while he's at Alabama, Alabama's always going to be
but then there's
Raj. Actually, no. Here, can we let Raj have a time to say a thoughtful and intelligent comment without any bias and backing up with some form of statistic about college
we might be here all night.
You said that you're a fan of you wanted Georgia to win. Could you name one receiver for Georgia for me without looking it up? That's currently on Georgia's roster.
Oh, geez.
Bryce Young, Bryce Hall, Bryce Harper, don't matter. UGA by 7. That's all.
Yeah, okay.
There it is.
So where's your intelligent comment, Raj?
I have intelligence.
Yeah, you go to Pitt, you're pre-med Pitt, so I would assume that you're a relatively intelligent guy.
Well, is he really rooting for UGA, or does he just want Bama to lose? Exactly.
So yeah, what do you think is going to happen? What's your take on the playoff format? What's your take on it being comparable to the NFL?
Playoff format, if it was that little 10-team thing Justin was talking about, Pitt would be in the playoffs, and I'd be very happy. I think these New Year's Six Bowls are kind of stupid. They should just make it like NFL.
Do you think that, what do you think would have happened if Pitt made the playoffs?
If Pitt made the playoffs, I don't know. Anything could have happened. You saw what Pickett was playing, and you were doubting him.
But think about it for a second, Jacob. If Pitt had all their players against Michigan State, and Michigan State had all their players, it would have been a nice, probably good competitive game, and the winner would have had some momentum and tried to go take down another team, and then you don't need to see Bama play in the first week and just like kill a team that's like ranked number 10 or something. They'll still go face a different team, but at least like gives more showcase to these other schools and incentivizes people who are like around like 10 and whatnot to play hard, and incentivizes players to not sit games, because like Bryce Young isn't going to sit so he doesn't get injured, and Bryce Young wouldn't sit next year if he was doing that. So
Well, I think that, I mean, what you just said, I think if a player doesn't have an incentive to play, then that's like not good in general. I feel like that's just an issue with that player and that program. If they're not, if they don't have like an incentive to just perform well, and like, because performing well, regardless of, I mean, Nick Saban used to be in the NFL, and I mean, he tells his players that regardless of who you're like going up against, he'll watch the tape. And like the NFL, management will watch the tape of players. It doesn't matter, who are they playing, what time it is in the game, all of that stuff. They want to see how well you perform. So I feel like you should perform well regardless of, and try to do your best regardless of the situation.
yeah, I mean, I don't agree with you, but I guess we'll agree to disagree for now.
What? Okay.
Okay.
For context, Raj is sending memes in a chat.
Yeah, Raj is sending memes in the chat that. Oh well.
All right. Well, after you two have just been battling for the past 15 minutes, I think we're going to wrap it up here on the Washed Athlete podcast. If anybody has any last remarks, get them in now. Because if not, I guess we'll see everybody again when we record our next episode. I hope everybody that was listening enjoyed this, and stay tuned for the next one. All right.
Style it. I'm from the pit, not the palace. I gotta run it, style it. Hit on the gas, make it growl it.